astronauts, giraffes, elephants running around, really cool. And Doug joined up with us.
I hope you now better have a better appreciation about what it was like to work with these two on a daily basis. Mike and I, he was great. Anyway, so these are brothers, remember? So, you know, if you ever tried to find the Voyager in flight, I did a lot of times over California here. It looked just like this. It's this little razor blade. It was hard as hell to find. We had talked to Dick on the radio at Nairobi. The Beechcraft dealer there was good enough to give us a Baron with a pilot, poor guy, who was in the left seat. His co-pilot was in the back seat. We had 5 people in this Baron, gas cans in the nose. We landed at a little game preserve runway. Yeah, Samburu, South Buffalo Springs Airport. We waited there until we heard from them on the radio. They'd coasted in at Mogadishu, to put it in perspective, right across Mogadishu. As soon as we knew they were in reasonable range, we took off. We both tracked inbound to the same VOR, one from the west, one from the east. And when we realized we had kind of crossed positions, we did a 180, looked up, and one of the guys in the back seat says, "There they are." It was, how the hell did that happen? I mean, I figured it would take us half an hour to find them, right? It would be a tail chase. And so, now this is where I became known by some as the African Embarrassment. But so here I am, and the deal with the poor driver in the left seat was that 100 yards or so out, or half a mile out, I'd start flying the Baron, and I'd only fly it in close to the Voyager. Fine. So we get to that point. I said to Dick, "How fast are you going?" I said, "Say your speed." He said, 80. Okay. So put the flaps down, put the gear down, stall warning's going off. Stall warning goes off in every airplane. You just fly through it. You man up and fly the airplane. And we're on their left side, and it just quit. Baron quit flying, did a 90-degree left roll. And I mean, my camera flew up and broke the filter on the front. You've never seen 2 yokes go to the forward stop and 2 right pedals go to the right forward stop as fast as happened in that airplane. And the poor guy in the left seat, I don't know what he thinks. I actually met one of the guys who's been in the back seat several years later, and he didn't hurt me. So we got recovered, and after a pretty long pause, there was just a single call from Dick said, "You okay?" And I said, "Yeah, we're okay." He said, "Well, when I saw you go by the left window and then disappear out of sight below the airplane, I wondered if you had a little problem or a big problem." So, it's a little problem. So we flew along with them. You know, it was a really emotional time to hear them on the radio. You know, holy crap, they made it this far and haven't stopped yet, and nothing stopped them yet. So we were lucky enough to fly with them for, I guess, about an hour. We dropped them off over as they were heading into Uganda, I think. The clouds were building up, and we were scared. We decided to go home. You guys go on. We'll be fine, thanks. And to put it in perspective, I'm the only person I think that I know of that saw them at takeoff, midpoint, and landing. Because I flew the Grumman Tiger chase on the takeoff and on the landing, and then this Baron in Africa. But to put it in perspective, they took off at 8 o'clock or so on Sunday morning. And by the way, best ever call to ground control. Edwards ground, Voyager 1, like to pick up our IFR clearance, Edwards to Edwards, the hard way. And he just came back and said, "Voyager 1, you're cleared as filed, maintain 8,000. It's the coolest radio call ever. So anyway, I took off from LAX at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on that same day. I landed in London. I spent the night in London with Peter Eva's parents. Went to Nairobi the next day via Athens. I was on the ground late in the day, there through the night, picked them up the next morning, spent the night again in Nairobi, flew back to LAX, and I was here 2 days before they got back. It's an amazing time travel thing. So, you know, I've had an opportunity to work on lots of cool things. This is still at the top. The volunteers were everything. Thanks.
You bet, Doug. You know, you can't imagine.